Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something real today. People often wonder why men take so long to fall in love, why they can be standing right there in a relationship and still not be fully in it with their hearts. And the truth is, men don't fall in love unless something happens first. It's not about beauty, it's not about charm, it's not even about how much time you spend with them. It's deeper than that. A man falls in love the moment he feels respected, the moment he feels like you see him for who he is and not for what he can do for you. Respect is the gateway, and without it, love can't take root. A man doesn't fall in love just because of beauty, charm, or words whispered in the night. A man falls in love through respect before affection, because respect is the foundation of everything he is and everything he stands for. You can admire a man's looks, you can enjoy his humor, you can even appreciate what he provides, but until he feels respected, he will never allow his heart to be completely yours. Respect to a man is not optional. It is the very oxygen of his spirit. When a man knows that his woman respects him, he feels seen, valued, and honored in a way that goes beyond physical attraction. That's why you'll notice that when a man is disrespected, he shuts down, he pulls away, and no matter how much he may like you, he will not give you his love. Respect is the door to his heart, and unless you walk through that door, affection will never have a permanent place in his soul. Think about it. A man can receive affection from many places, but it doesn't mean he's in love. A kiss, a hug, a kind gesture, these things are good, but they don't touch the deepest part of who he is. What touches him is when you speak life into him, when you talk to him in a way that builds him instead of tearing him down. A man measures love not by the softness of your touch alone, but by the tone of your voice when you talk about him to others, by the way you stand beside him when life tests his strength, and by the way you believe in him when he doubts himself. A man's heart responds to admiration, and the respect you give is what transforms his affection into love. Respect is not just about words, it's about actions. A man notices if you honor his efforts, if you appreciate his sacrifices, if you recognize the weight he carries on his shoulders. He notices if you belittle his dreams or if you encourage him to keep going when the world tells him to stop. He pays attention to whether you cut him down with criticism or whether you build him up with encouragement. Affection feels good in the moment, but respect stays with him. It fuels him. It pushes him to be better. And once a man realizes that the woman he's with genuinely respects him, that's when he feels safe enough to let love grow. Men live in a world that constantly questions their worth. They are pressured to provide, to achieve, to appear strong, even when they feel weak. In that kind of world, love alone is not enough for him. He needs a place where he feels respected, a relationship where he doesn't have to fight to be valued. If you give a man respect, he will rise to the occasion. If you treat him as if he already has greatness within him, he will move mountains just to prove you right. And the love he develops from that place of respect will be a love that is unshakable. When a man feels respected, it changes the way he views you. You are no longer just someone he dates, you become someone he admires. You're not just someone he's attracted to, you become someone he cherishes. Respect makes a man's love go deeper than surface level affection. It anchors him. It makes him think about building a future, not just enjoying the present. He may like many, but he will love the one who respects him. He may admire beauty in passing, but he will dedicate his heart to the one who values his spirit. Respect before affection. That is the key that unlocks his love. Men value how a woman makes them feel about themselves more than anything else. You can be the most beautiful woman in the room. You can be talented, smart, and successful. But if a man doesn't feel good about who he is when he's around you, his heart will never fully open. What captures a man's attention may be your looks, but what captures his soul is the way you make him feel about himself. Men live their lives trying to prove they are capable, worthy, and strong. They carry silent battles that they never fully share with the world. When he comes home, when he comes to you, the last thing he wants is another battlefield. He wants a place where he feels uplifted, where he feels like he matters, where he feels like he's not just a provider, but also a man who is deeply valued. A man falls in love when he realizes that being with you makes him feel like the best version of himself. When he feels supported, when he feels respected, when he feels admired, that's when love begins to grow. A man doesn't want to be constantly reminded of his failures. He doesn't want to feel small in the presence of the woman he loves. He wants to feel like he has a partner who believes in him even when he doubts himself. Because here's the truth. Men carry insecurities just like women do, but they often hide them behind silence, behind pride, behind work. And when a woman steps into his life and makes him feel stronger, makes him feel capable, makes him feel seen for more than just his mistakes, that's when his heart begins to trust her with his love. The way you make a man feel about himself determines the way he sees you. If you speak life into him, if you encourage his dreams, if you show appreciation for his effort, he will see you as irreplaceable. You don't have to constantly flatter him, but you do have to be mindful of how your words and actions impact him. A careless comment can crush him, but a thoughtful word can lift him higher than he imagined possible. Men remember the moments when a woman believed in them, and those moments shape their decision to commit. A man who feels like he's constantly criticized may stay for a while, but he won't stay forever. On the other hand, a man who feels empowered by your presence will not want to lose you. When a man falls for a woman, it's not just about the way she looks or the way she carries herself. It's about the way she makes him feel at his core. Does he feel respected? Does he feel admired? Does he feel like he can show his weaknesses without being judged? If the answer is yes, then his love will deepen. If the answer is no, then no matter how much fun he has, his love will not last. Men crave the feeling of significance, and the woman who gives him that becomes unforgettable. Think about it. If a man feels stronger, more confident, and more alive when he's with you, why would he ever want to let that go? You become his safe place, his source of encouragement, his reminder that he is capable of greatness. That kind of impact is what turns affection into devotion. That's what makes him look at you and say, this is the woman I can't live without. Because at the end of the day, love for a man is not about what you give him physically, it's about what you give him emotionally. It's about how you make him feel about himself when the world is tearing him down. And when he finds that feeling in you, he will hold on with everything he has, because nothing compares to the power of a woman who makes a man feel like the best version of himself. Men may be drawn in by attraction, but what truly makes them fall in love and stay in love is consistency. Temporary beauty, charm, and words can catch a man's eye, but consistency is what captures his heart. A man can meet someone who makes him laugh, who excites him in the beginning, who looks incredible in every room she walks into. But if that same energy fades, if that behavior changes with the wind, his feelings won't last. Attraction sparks the interest, but consistency feeds the fire. What a man values is not just how you treat him on the good days, but how you treat him every day. It's the predictability of knowing you'll stand by your word, that you won't be one person today and another tomorrow, that you are reliable in both presence and spirit. That steadiness is what separates infatuation from love. A man lives in a world full of uncertainty. Work changes, friendships shift, circumstances come and go. So when he finds consistency in a woman, it becomes priceless to him. He falls in love when he realizes you won't just show him kindness when it's convenient, but that you'll keep showing up even when it's not easy. He pays attention to whether your respect for him changes depending on his success or failure, whether your admiration fades when times are tough, whether your patience disappears when he's struggling. When you are consistent in your care, consistent in your belief, consistent in your actions, that's when his trust begins to grow. And trust is what allows his love to deepen. Consistency is not about being perfect, it's about being genuine. Men can sense when someone is putting on a performance, when affection is only given to get something in return, when respect is conditional. That kind of temporary attention doesn't move him. What moves him is when he sees the same version of you show up every day, not just the highlight reel, but the real you, steady and true. A man values consistency because it tells him who you really are. Anybody can put on a smile in the first few weeks. Anybody can be patient in the honeymoon phase. But can you still be kind? Can you still be respectful? Can you still be encouraging when challenges come? That's the question that determines whether his affection turns into love. Men also want to know that consistency exists in how you see them. If you believe in him only when things are going well, he feels like your love is shallow. But if you still believe in him when he's at rock bottom, if you still see his potential when he doubts himself, then you've given him something rare. Consistency in your support shows him that you're not just there for the ride, but that you're there for the journey. And when he feels that, he begins to see you not just as someone who excites him, but as someone he can't live without. Think about it. Attraction may start the story, but consistency writes the chapters. When a man knows he can count on you, when he knows that your character doesn't shift with every emotion, when he knows that you will treat him with the same respect whether people are watching or not, that's when he feels secure enough to fall in love. Love for a man is not born in moments of intensity, but in the steady rhythm of consistency. It's not about grand gestures once in a while. It's about the little things done over and over. That's what builds loyalty. That's what builds connection. That's what makes him choose you again and again. When he finds that consistency in you, everything changes. He stops wondering if your care is real. He stops questioning if your respect will fade. He stops searching for something better because he already has what he needs. And what he needs is not perfection, not constant excitement, not temporary highs. What he needs is the steady presence of someone who shows up every single day. Consistency is the glue that turns interest into commitment. And without it, attraction fades. With it, his love grows stronger than you ever imagined. A man's love grows when trust is established. You can capture his attention with beauty. You can spark his interest with charm. You can even hold his curiosity with laughter and fun. But his love will never reach its full depth until he feels he can trust you. Trust is the soil where love is planted. Without it, everything else withers away. With it, everything flourishes. For man, trust is not just about believing you will be faithful. It's about knowing that you are reliable, that you are honest, that you are consistent with your words and your actions. He wants to know that what you say is real, that who you present yourself to be in the beginning is who you really are, and that he can lean on you without fear that you will let him fall. A man lives in a world where he is constantly guarded. He doesn't show his weaknesses easily. He doesn't reveal his fears without caution because men are taught to protect themselves. But when he finds someone he can trust, that's when the walls come down. That's when he lets you into the parts of his life no one else sees. A man's love does not grow in secrecy. It grows in vulnerability. And vulnerability cannot exist without trust. The more he trusts you, the more he opens up. And the more he opens up, the deeper his love becomes. Trust is built in the little things. It's built when you keep your word, when you follow through on your promises, when you listen without judgment, when you respect his privacy. It's built when he can tell you something sensitive and know it won't be thrown back at him in an argument. It's built when he sees that you don't expose his weaknesses to others, but instead protect them. Every time you show him that he is safe with you, his heart invests more. And once a man feels that level of safety, his love becomes stronger than anything else. A man does not want to constantly question where he stands with you. He doesn't want to wonder if your affection is genuine or if your loyalty will disappear when tested. When he knows he can trust you, he can relax into the relationship. He can stop guarding himself and start giving himself fully. And that shift changes everything. A man who trusts deeply is a man who loves deeply. He begins to make plans with you in mind. He begins to picture a future with you. He begins to anchor his life around the relationship. Trust is the foundation that gives him permission to build. Think about it. If a man cannot trust you, he may stay for a while, he may even show affection, but his love will not reach its full strength. He will always hold back a part of himself. But if he feels that you are steady, reliable, and loyal, he will give you his all. Trust creates freedom. It creates the freedom for him to laugh without fear of being mocked, to cry without fear of being doubted, to dream without fear of being doubted. That freedom is what allows love to blossom. Men don't fall in love just because they are attracted. They fall in love because they feel secure. Security comes from trust. When he knows that you will not betray him, when he knows that you are truthful, when he knows that his heart is safe in your hands, that's when his love grows stronger each day. And the deeper that trust becomes, the more unshakable his love will be. Because for man, trust is not just a requirement. It's the lifeline of his heart. Without it, love cannot survive. With it, love becomes unstoppable. Men commit when they feel safe to be vulnerable. You can capture a man's attention in many ways, but if he doesn't feel safe to show you his true self, his heart will always hold back. A man can laugh with you, spend time with you, even tell you he cares for you, but commitment comes when he feels that he can